Hi, welcome. My name is Karen Van Ark. I am the adult program coordinator here at the public or at the Downers Grove Library. Um, I I'm kind of hoarse today, so I'm going to limit the amount of talking that I do. But we are here to learn about cool tools with the People's Resource Center, and I will turn it over to Paul Lewis, who is the um, um, head of the overall programming division at the People's Resource Center.
Thanks so much, Karen. I really appreciate it. And welcome. Thanks so much for joining me this morning. So my name is Paul Lewis. I'm the Director of Adult Education and Employment with the People's Resource Center. So I oversee all of our empowerment programs that we have. Which I'll actually talk about those in a minute. So just a couple quick guidelines, if you don't mind muting yourself. If you do have questions throughout the presentation, since we are recording it, I'd ask that you save your questions to the end. We should have plenty of time to be able to address those. If you're comfortable, I'd love to see your face. Usually, it's a lot easier for me to present when I'm able to see the faces of the people I'm presenting to. Makes me feel like I'm doing this in person. If you do have questions throughout or just things that you want to make sure that we touch base on, you can use the chat function here. You could put those in the chat and we can make sure to answer those at the end. The best way to view this presentation is the side-by-side mode. So if you go to the top right-hand corner, click on View Options, click Side-by-Side, you'll be able to see my bald face and the presentation. So that's usually the best way to view this presentation in Zoom. It says the workshop is not being recorded, but it is being recorded because we do send this out to people that registered and are not able to attend. Everything that is said in this presentation is confidential, especially at the end when we're asking questions or if you're sharing your story. We don't record that and send that out. So we want you to be honest with us if there's a question that you have. And once again, we really appreciate Karen and the Downers Grove Public Library for hosting us today. So a little bit of background on the People's Resource Center. All of our services are available free of charge to residents of DuPage County. We have our food pantry that is run out of our Wheaton and Westmont locations. We have different hours throughout the week in which the food pantry is open. It is a sort of like a self-serve model, so you can come in and choose the food items you want, put it in the grocery cart and be on your way. Also have a couple different options. There is a curbside pickup option if you're in a hurry and just want a box of food, we can provide that for you as well. And then we have a couple other options to order food online, and there's pickup times and things like that. So best thing is, if you have any questions or want to see kind of what the most up-to-date methods are, please use our website, www.peoplesrc.org. I can put that in the chat later if it's easier for you. We also have our emergency financial assistance, which is our social services. So if you need help paying your rent, or if you need help paying for a car repair, if you are eligible, we are able to financially support you in that endeavor. We also have our art studio. So we have art workshops throughout the month. Anything from drawing to painting to working with clay, things like that. We kind of change it up every month. So use our website if you're interested in seeing kind of what the most up-to-date workshops we're offering are. Finally, we're going to get into my wheelhouse, which is the empowerment programs. So we have our adult learning and literacy. That's our ESL program. We have one-to-one or group tutoring sessions for people wanting to learn English, or if they need help tutoring to take their GED class or a citizenship class. We offer all of those through the adult learning and literacy program. We have our computer training and access program, which is if you are interested in taking computer classes, or if you're interested in actually receiving a computer, we have a team that refurbishes computers and gives them out to our clients free of charge. We have desktops, laptops, Chromebooks, and all-in-ones, which are really nice. Talk a little bit about our job assistance program now. So we offer workshops like this at different public libraries throughout the month. We also offer one-on-one job coaching, which is individualized mentoring. So what that means is if you need help in your job search, we can help you with whatever you need. There's no specific program that you have to go through. Everything is individualized and tailored to your specific need. We also have our self-assessment skills test, which I'll actually talk about today, so I'm not going to go over that now. We can assist with helping you practice your interviewing skills. And we also have a job board, which we'll actually talk about in this presentation as well. So I will not touch base on that here. So today we are going to be focusing on cool tools for a focused job search. Essentially, this is just going to be a bunch of different resources, both virtually and, not virtually, that you can use that can help you, stay organized and find a job. So we basically break that down into two different pieces. So we have your paper tools, so things that you do not need a computer for that can help you stay organized. And then we have our digital tools. And, in the modern age and, in 2023, things are quickly shifting more towards digital tools. So, we're certainly, while there is some use for, the paper method, you can find a lot of really cool resources online, and we're going to be touching base on a lot of them. And I'm actually going to be sharing some things that are not in this presentation that I've been working with pretty recently. So hopefully you find a lot of value in some of the things that we're discussing today. So there's lots of different types of job search tools that can help you in lots of different ways in your job search. So tools that can help increase your productivity, tools that can help you fill out a job application. There's skills assessments, things you can take, or tests that you can take to see how proficient you are in a certain area. There's tools that you can use to network with your peers in order to, help you find open jobs, or just, talk about, a certain industry that you're interested in. There's plenty of job boards and community organizations like PRC that can help you with your job search. We'll talk about some of the online resources. There's lots of alerts. I know that I still have, even though I've been employed with PRC for 2 years, I still have a alert on LinkedIn that alerts me of new job openings, in the Chicagoland area. And that's really good if you just kind of want to stay on top of, when people are hiring. There's industry outlooks if you just want to get a sense of, what the economy is doing, what trends are in workforce development, what industries are hiring, what industries are laying off, like tech. Everybody's getting laid off in tech right now, so maybe not a great industry to be looking for a job in right now. And finally, there's employer and employee reviews, so places that if you're interested in working for a company, you can kind of get a sense of whether it's a good company to work for. So first and foremost, productivity. That's really important when it comes to finding a job. A lot of times you hear the term, finding a job is a job, and it requires you to be organized. So there's lots of tools that can help you become more productive. So, the purpose of these tools is, to help you establish a daily, weekly objectives, set reasonable, measurable goals. You don't want to set goals that are not achievable for you. The terminology is, start small and build momentum, but don't overdo it. So, the best way, if you're really going to focus on finding a job, is kind of, break out what your week is going to look like. Make sure that you set, chunks of time to be able to, search for jobs, apply for jobs, but also, give yourself some space to have lunch, or to take a walk, or to, do yoga or meditate, or something that's going to help manage your stress levels. Because, well, let's face it, especially if you don't have a job, finding a job is incredibly stressful, and you want to make sure that you practice self-care. So these are just some examples. I'm not going to go over all of them, but when you're kind of thinking about, how do I find a job and how do I organize myself? There's essentially two parts. So there's the preparation stage. You can't really just jump in and start applying for jobs if you're not really sure what you're looking for, or you're not really prepared to do a phone screen or to do an interview. So there's ways to prepare, and we talk about all these when you're working with a job client. And we also do quite a few workshops on sort of the preparation stage, so we can help you develop your, me in 30 seconds, which is, the question, tell me about yourself, that people ask at the beginning of every interview. But you have to prepare before you actually start applying for jobs, because you could apply for a job and they might call you back, the next day, if they're really looking to hire somebody quickly. And that could be overwhelming when you're like, well, I'm not even prepared to be on an interview. I don't have interview clothes. I haven't practiced my speeches. So it's good to prepare first, before you kind of jump into the active job search stage. And the active job search stage is when you're actively applying for jobs. Your resume is ready. You have the job alerts on. You're following up with employers via email. And that's when you're ready to interview and you're actively looking for a job that you can start, ASAP. Job application. This is a old school paper application. I don't know of any organization now that has paper applications. I'm sure there's a few, but I certainly don't know of any. So most of this stuff is done online, and most of it is done through what's called an applicant tracking system. We'll touch base a little bit about that later. But essentially, this is probably the most tedious part of searching for a job is filling in your information and submitting the actual job application. Some organizations are getting really quite efficient with how people apply for jobs. Those are the ones that I enjoy the most because they just have you submit your resume, and then once you submit your resume, it actually auto-populates a lot of the fields, so you don't have to go in and put in your employer information 20 different times, because that can be very time consuming and tedious. So but there's some applicant tracking systems or organizations where you have to fill in everything manually, and it's quite tedious and quite annoying. So it really just kind of depends on the organization that you're applying for. But you can always expect that you're going to be filling out the same type of information: your personal information, your educational background, any certificates or licenses that you have, your work history. Everybody's going to want to know what you were doing prior to applying for their position. Some employers are going to ask for your salary expectations or salary range. Now in the state of Illinois, they should not ask you what your previous salary was at your job. That is illegal. That is the law, that they cannot ask you that. Most places are going to ask if you have any military records, any achievements or distinctions. If you were Employee of the Year at some point, or you got a prestigious award, they're going to want to know about that. And then finally, most employers, maybe not right off the bat, but if you're close to getting an offer, they're going to ask for references. So it's always a good idea to have at least 3 people, 2 professional and 1 personal, kind of on hand and ready to go if they do ask for your references. Good thing to, and this is something that you can do either, keeping track of something on an Excel spreadsheet, or if you're a person that likes to write things down, you should always keep track of what jobs you apply for, especially if you're applying for multiple jobs per day. Nothing is I'd say more annoying from an employer. And I've had personal experience with this when, I've called somebody in for a job interview and they're like, "Who are you? What job is this for?" We're all human. We forget if we're applying for, if we've applied for 30 jobs, we might not always remember what we applied for. So it's good to keep a log of, what you applied for, how you applied for it, when you applied for it. So you have that on hand when, somebody does call and you're like, "Oh yeah, it's for this job. I remember applying for this." You don't want to, come across as clueless. So it's really good. And there's we talked about lots of different ways that you can do that. You can write that down. You can keep it in an Excel spreadsheet if you're somebody that likes to stay organized and have all your stuff on your computer. There's multiple different ways to do that. So another thing in sort of the preparation stage is assessment. So making sure that you're matching your skills to an appropriate job or industry. That's really important because you're wasting your time if you're applying for a bunch of jobs that you're not qualified for. I'm not going to apply for a job to be a nuclear physicist because I have absolutely no experience in that whatsoever. And I can still apply for it, don't get me wrong, but they're not gonna give me the time of day. So don't waste your time. Let's be perfectly honest. You should only apply for jobs that you feel like you have the skills and the qualifications to be successful. So how do you do that? It's good to kind of make a list of what soft skills you have, what hard skills you have. So soft skills meaning, hey, I like to communicate with people. I enjoy jobs where I'm working directly with clients, versus your hard skills. I'm certified in Microsoft Excel. I have experience working in Salesforce. I'm, very proficient in working with Google Suite, things like that. So and then you kind of say what industries, and you can work with your job coach on that if you have one at PRC. What industries would be a good fit for my skills? And that's kind of where you can start your job search. It's a good idea too, when you're reading the job descriptions, to tailor your cover letter. We don't really, we have a whole workshop, about resumes and cover letters and things like that. But, it's just kind of a brief overview. It's really important for you to make sure that you tailor your resume and your cover letter to the jobs that you're applying for. So it's always good to have a hard copy of your resume, but if you need to go back in and tweak it or use some of the language that maybe they're using in the job description. Now, I never say don't lie, but sometimes it requires a bit of tweaking and changing words around, because especially if the job is going through an applicant tracking system, the applicant tracking system is really kind of honing in on those keywords. So if your resume or cover letter do not contain some of the keywords in the job description that are, especially kind of in the job requirements, what they require of the person to be successful in this role, your resume is probably not going to pass through that applicant tracking system. So it's really important to tailor and make sure that you reference your skills and experiences and make sure it's tailored towards the job description. And these are just, a couple different examples of how you can do that. And I think, Karen, we're happy to send out these slides afterwards too. So if people, want to have like a hard copy of this stuff, I have no problem sending it out. So a couple other things that you can do. We have, I'm going to talk a lot about People's Resource Center here, just because I think what we offer to clients searching for jobs is very valuable. But we offer something called the Talent Central Skills Assessment Test. So, essentially they say hundreds. I think there's like over 900 or something. They keep adding new ones all the time, but there's like 900 or so different types of tests that can let you determine kind of where, what your proficiency is at a variety of different things. So, there's like hard skill types of proficiency tests. So if you want to, see what your proficiency is in Microsoft Excel, all the way to, more like soft skills, like what's your customer service skills like, or how do you handle, challenges in the workplace, things like that. So there's skills assessments on everything. Essentially, there's even one on like if you wanted to become a 911 operator, there's a skills assessment test that will test your ability to, be a 911 operator. So that's kind of how detailed all of these things are. And we offer this free of charge to PRC clients. We can help set you up with however many skills assessment tests you want to take. And these are good because it kind of gives you a visual idea of where your skills and maybe where your weaknesses are and what you need to work on. But if you score really high in these tests, this is something that you can add to your resume too. It's always really good to provide hard data to back up what you say that you're skilled at. Another rule, what I think is probably one of the most important networking tools available to people now is LinkedIn. So it is a social networking site, but it's not a social networking site where people post their ill-advised political rants or pictures of their dogs. Well, there's a lot of political ranting on LinkedIn, but I don't see too many pictures of dogs. But it is a very good social networking site that's specifically designed around business networking. So it is a great way for individuals and organizations to connect with one another, kind of understand what's going on in the business world or workforce development trends, and also, current business best practices. They have a really robust job board on there. So there's a lot of open positions that organizations post on LinkedIn. It also gives you the opportunity to connect with people in an industry that you're interested in, or just, learn more about, or, organizations are constantly posting updates about what they have going on. Well, there's a lot of, as the statistics say here, there's a lot of recruiters on there. It's a great tool for you to use to build your network and kind of understand, what the trends are and actually search for jobs. And there's a lot of people on there. I mean, there's lots of different, there's other networking sites and other social media things, but if this is, if this is the only social media network or only social media website that you have, this is a good tool to have on there if you're really actively searching for work. But why is networking important? So people use LinkedIn to promote themselves and their achievements, their work history through an online profile. So your online profile is basically your digital resume. That's the best way to put it. You can take a professional photo. We can do that here at PRC for you if you need somebody to take a really nice photo of you. It's a way to kind of network yourself, put yourself out there. Here's what I'm good at. Here's what I need, or here's what I'm looking for. One of the good things about LinkedIn is you constantly see people supporting other people, advocating for other people. I saw a couple days ago, I saw somebody saying, hey, I was just laid off. I have 3 kids and here's what I'm good at. And it was shared like thousands of times on other people's networks. So it was really kind of, getting this person out there and potentially exposing them to job opportunities. So it's a great way to get yourself in front of, hundreds, if not thousands of people without having to go to networking events or going to do in-person things too. So I'd say there's we have a great 1-hour workshop on LinkedIn, how to start a LinkedIn, how to use some of the different tools on there. So that's, if you're interested in learning more, we have a whole workshop on it that you can attend. Say you're not very social media savvy and you're like, I don't really want to be on LinkedIn. That's totally fine. Networking is a really key and important part of the job search. So you need to try to figure out some other ways to network yourself and get yourself out there. So we talked about like local job clubs. We give the example of like the Lyon Township Job Club. There's lots of like networking and groups that maybe meet together, a couple times a month or once a month, just to kind of sit down and, talk about their job search experience, or, hey, this is what I did. This is what worked for me, or I did this on an interview, or, hey, I heard this person's hiring. The more that you're connected with individuals, and especially like-minded individuals or people going through the same thing, the more success you have, and the more that it helps you feel like you're not alone. I mean, it's good to know that other people are going through the similar experience that you have, and job searching is stressful. So, I know Karen, the Downers Grove Public Library, any local library in your area, they're going to have a lot of resources for job assistance and job search too. So, we always recommend checking your local library or religious organization. Any community organization is going to be able to kind of connect you with organizations that might meet that specific need. There's a couple other good websites that are not social networking sites, but if you're just looking for like meetups or trying to understand, what sort of things people are doing in the job search realm, I'd say Meetup is probably the one that has the most groups, focused on, job searching, or, there's like groups that talk about like resumes or like interviewing, mock interviewing. I've seen all sorts of different groups on there. And there's also, if you are really social media savvy, like Facebook and Twitter and, all those other things, there's lots of job resources and things on there as well. Other opportunities, what do you sort of use, networking for? And it's really just to connect with individuals, and whether or not, this is a good story. We just hired somebody at People's Resource Center the other day, and they were hired through somebody bought something off like Facebook. There's like a Facebook bazaar or something where you can like, people can post things or sell things. And one of our employees was selling something on Facebook, and the person who bought it, came over to pick it up, and they just started having a conversation. And this person that worked at PRC said, hey, yeah, we have quite a few open positions now. And they were talking about how much they enjoyed working there. This person said, hey, I'm actually looking for a new job too. This position sounds awesome. made a direct connection to our human resources department, and we ended up hiring that individual. And that was all done just through a really random networking opportunity. So, don't take those things for granted. It's, you never know what's going to come out of just talking to people and connecting with people, whether it's in person or, over the internet. But you have to put yourself out there. You have to kind of get out of your comfort zone and do something like that. Because you never know. You never know what's going to happen. So job boards, not a lot of jobs are posted in the newspaper anymore. I'm sure there's a few, but most of that stuff is kind of shifted to being online. I think the biggest job board available right now is Indeed.com, that basically kind of curates all the open positions, scattered throughout the country, and kind of puts them all into one place. That they have a search tool, so it's easy to kind of search your area, search different industries. You can even search by salary range. So Indeed is a really user-friendly tool that can kind of pinpoint jobs that are good for your specific skill set. Glassdoor, LinkedIn, these are all websites that kind of do the same thing. They're just job boards, and some of them are better than others in terms of the amount of jobs on there, your ability to filter specific jobs that tailor your needs. I always drive people to Indeed as a good idea to just kind of see what's out there and what's available. I'm going to tell you, this is not on here. If you ever find a job that you're interested in applying for, always go to that company's website and see if you can apply for that job at the company's website, as opposed to applying to that job through Indeed. I just think companies tend to, and this is, obviously not 100% of the time, but I think companies really prefer that people apply through their website. It shows that you've gone to the website, you've done your research, and typically those are the ones that I think hiring managers check first, are the submissions through the website. So, these job boards are a great way to see what's out there. But if you're going to apply for a job, go to the company website, see if you're going to do it directly through the website first. Most companies, most big companies or moderate companies, have the ability to apply through it directly through the website. They have a careers page or something that you'd go to. If you're, 40 plus and you're looking for jobs that might, that might be catered more towards older workers, or I'd say more seasoned professionals and seniors, there's a couple other websites that are tailored to those more specific needs. I actually just read a really interesting article the other day that more companies are actually wanting to hire older workers or more seasoned professionals, because younger people have been job hopping so much that they don't really want to hire them, because they can't, they don't feel like they're going to stick around long enough to be worth that investment. They're finding that older workers tend to stay at places a lot longer. So there's this trend of hiring older workers, which I think is, it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have somebody that has many years of experience under their belt. But these websites are kind of tailored more specifically to that. And then I talked about the PRC online job board. I post things on there all the time. I posted like 12 things on there yesterday. I have a lot of companies that come to me with open positions. So I'm constantly posting jobs on there. Most of these jobs are only available in DuPage County, so we try to keep it as local as possible. And I believe this is you, Charles?
Yes, yes, it is. Thank you, Paul. A lot of information there, a lot of websites, a lot of information. And these are tools. Just a philosophical comment here. Tools are great, but you have to use them. A tool that you know about and don't use is a paperweight. A drill you don't use, that's a heavy paperweight, a hammer. Think of it like that. You have to use these tools. And I'm not saying all of them. Paul gave you more tools, and I'm going to give you more tools also. Find a few, 2, 3, 4 that work well for you, that you like, that you're comfortable with, and really work these tools, because there's an incredible amount of good tools that you can use to really help you in your job search and not just get a job, but get a job that you're going to thrive in, that you're going to enjoy, that is the right fit for you. The right fit is not just on the resume, the matching really should be real life also. So we'll get away from philosophy and now talk about community organizations. Yes, Karen and the Downers Grove Public Library is a great resource. They have many tools there that I'm sure I would walk in there and Karen would say, Charles, did you know we have this tool for job seekers? And I'd say no, because there are a lot of them out there. I'm not aware of all of them. Paul is not aware of all of them. There are a lot. So stop in at your local library, go to adult services. Don't be afraid to go up to the desk and talk to a real person. We can get comfortable with our computer and forget how to communicate. Don't do that. Walk into your local library in person and ask them what resources they have to help you. Next. All right, community centers. Well, PRC is kind of like a community center. It's a community resource. Community centers, I'm not sure exactly who that would fill the bill for, but a community center could be any public area. It could be a library. It could be any gathering place, city hall that may have some services related to job help. Look into that. It's more on a local level, but you are at a community resource right here, People's Resource Center. Next. All right. Now, here is something. This is an app. So those of you that are filling up your phone with 100 apps, here's the 101st app you can put on your phone if you're into the job thing. Good and Company. That's actually the name of the company. They have a little download, and it's kind of like a quiz thing. You give it information. They say 3 minutes, 3 steps. It'll determine, are you a good cultural fit? We hear that a lot. What's the company's culture? Well, you know what? Companies have culture. You do also. And you might be the company culture might be right, but you may not be right for the company. So it is actually a two-way street. The company will look at your culture. What do you value? Does the company value the same thing? So look at this cultural fit. It's not going to get you a job, but it's kind of cool to find a place where you feel comfortable, where you're free to express yourself, kind of where you fit in the old language. We didn't talk about cultural fit. It was like, do you fit in? Okay, look at that page to determine that. Next. All right, now here's my favorite. By the way, I'm a job coach, have been for over 6 years. And a lot of this I would recommend. I'm a little commercial for PRC. Get a job coach. There's a lot of information here, and we can assist you in any one or all of these areas. As a job coach, I like this ONET Online. It's the letter O, not zero. It's onetonline.org. And this is U.S. Department of Labor Statistics. It's a government website. Why do I like it? I don't need to remember a password. I don't need a user. I don't need to generate new passwords. Real simple. Just go to the page. I'll say always, nothing is always, but most of the time it'll pop up for you, onetonline.org. And this is the opening page you'll see, and you'll see a little search box on the right corner there. And for example, later slides talk about electricians. So let's say you wanted to do something along those lines in building trades. You might put building trades in there and click on it. You'll get a list of occupations that are related to that. It might be 20, 30 things. And if any of them look good to you on the next page, it comes up, click on that. You'll get a 20, 30 pages even, I've seen very detailed what is this job? What do people do? Do they lift 100 pounds? Do they sit all day? Do they stare at a computer screen all day? What do they really do in their job? Do they talk to people? Do they communicate? From soft skills to hard skills, everything is covered in that report. So go to that website. You can spend good quality time. I'm not going to direct you to websites to waste your time. This is a website that is not a waste of time. ONET Online, very valuable. You can do searches different ways. Down at the bottom by occupation. I want to be in the medical field. I want to advanced search. I want to be that physicist that Paul spoke about that I don't qualify for either. So there's some side boxes. If you're a veteran, click on that. And if you're still confused, let's go to the next page. Next page, Paul. There we go. Okay, so you went to ONET Online and you're still not sure what do you want to do. You know what? I get a lot of clients that have been in something for 10 years, 20 years, and they're thinking, I'm tired of this. I've achieved what I wanted to achieve. I want to do something else. What do I do with this? Okay, well, this is a good web page. My Next Move. It is a sister page of ONET Online. So again, this is Bureau of Labor Statistics. Good, safe website. And there's different ways you can do this. That purple on the end, tell us what you like to do. And it's a little interactive quiz. It may give you a little insight into yourself. Do you like to work with your hands? Do you like building projects? Would you like to invent a drug to cure cancer? Big things, little things. All maybe 45 questions. Take you 15, 20 minutes. Go through it. Maybe it'll give you a little insight. If you think somebody said, oh, you know, that medical industry is a great thing. Well, you could browse careers by industry, just like they're in the middle. Keywords. Paul mentioned Excel. You're an Excel specialist. You think you're top of the line and know more than the person that created Excel. Great. Put your keyword Excel in there. Pick a keyword. Maybe that's not broad enough. Pick a keyword that is a broad enough word. Put it in there. You can do it by keywords. Where do those keywords come out of? Probably your resume. They should be in there. That's where the keywords. So you might want to look at what your keywords are at your current position. I have a client that was in the medical field and wants to go into customer service. Well, you might think those aren't related, but really they are, because this person worked with customers, clients, patients. So the keyword was in there, and put that in, and this person could do a search that away. Next. All right, here we are, an electrician. Lot of, I value electricians. They work with a dangerous product, not a lot of room for error. You have to know what you're doing with this electrician thing. But this, again, this is My Next Move, which shares a lot of the same information that the ONET Online does. So we did a search. My Next Move determined, yeah, I like wiring things up. I like seeing things work when I flip the switch. So I want to be an electrician. But I'm not currently in that industry. What does this do? It tells you in simple English, tells you the knowledge you need, engineering and technology. You have to have some, you can't just jump into it, obviously. You need certifications or classes, trades, something like that. Math and science, I'm sure, are big. It tells you safety is important. Skills, basic skills, and I can't read all of these with my poor eyes, but get it on your screen, you'll be able to read it. It'll tell you what skills are required, technology that's required, problem solving. Oh, it sounds like a good skill. That's, by the way, problem solving is a soft skill. Soft skills are underrated by a lot of people. Their resumes emphasize their hard skills. employers are very interested in your soft skills, your ability to get along with people, your ability, if you're in customer service, to de-escalate a situation that could get out of control. Somebody is upset, and how do you handle it? Things like that are soft skills. What abilities? Okay, well, you've got to be able to use your hands and fingers. You've got to have ideas and logic. Yeah, like, is this logical wiring this way? So logic certainly enters in it. Verbal. Most positions, you have to have communication, verbal skills, written skills, ability to share that information, to collaborate with other people. That's what they're talking about here. So you can see great information on My Next Move. Great website, again, connected up with ONET. Next. All right, wow, well, we keep moving along with My Next Move. Personality. Do you think personality is important in a job? I think it is. I really do. And when you're interviewed, that person is also evaluating your personality. So keep that in mind. And those little types I can't read. Analytical thinking I can make out there. Initiative. Yeah, there's a whole lot of it that enters into your personality. Can you get along with other people? Can you share information? Your communication skills. Again, more detail on technology, the education, certification. A lot of jobs, by the way, just an aside, are not requiring a four-year college degree anymore. A lot of jobs are very happy with certifications, additional training after high school that is maybe specific to that job. So don't feel I just have a GED or a high school education that I'm not going to be eligible in the workforce. Yes, employers do want you, maybe with some more training. Job outlook. This tells you median, like this one, the median for income for an electrician, 56,000. And it'll tell you a bright outlook. What does that mean? Yeah, it's a sunny day out there and there's a lot of positions. Tradespeople are huge in demand. Manufacturing, huge in demand. There's a lot of fields. Medical, huge in demand. So let's move to the next page and keep on. All right, we'll change the name, but again, this is also Bureau of Labor Statistics. It's called Career One Stop, all run together. Put that in your computer or do a Google search, Career One Stop. And just like ONET, no passwords, no fees. By the way, none of these have, $10 subscription fees per month to add to the Netflix subscription price. You don't need that. This is all government. Your taxes, you are paying for it. Your taxes are paying for it. Our taxes are paying for it. So take advantage of this Career One Stop. A lot of tools here. This is one of the opening pages. And there's a lot of training information, all those little boxes. Look them over, click on them if they apply to you. You can get training, you can explore careers, you can get local help. This will link you to local people. So go to this, Career One Stop, and explore. It's a good, safe site. Next. All right, this is a continuation of Career One Stop. Get My Future. We're all in different positions in life, obviously. Maybe you need a resume. Well, you get some help with that online, or if you'd like to do it in person or get a job coach, call PRC. Training. There's a lot of training available through West Suburban all kind of job councils out here. College Edu page. There's scholarships available. Paul is more up to date on that than I am. You could probably direct questions about that to him. So training, job search help, applying, working for myself. Oh, you want to be an entrepreneur? How do you do it? This will give you some good advice. Finish high school. How do I get my GED? I didn't make it through high school. I did 3 years and didn't finish up. How do I finish up? Okay, well, go to that little box, click on it, and it'll take you there. So a lot of tools. Next. Oh, well, here's one that we all want to go to. My skills, my future. Again, this is still this same career one stop. Go to it. You can see, you can make a, I hate to say it, this will sound stupid. You can make a career out of going to this, well, my career, career page. There's a lot of information. So go to what's relevant to you. For example, on this, my future, build a bridge to your new career. I did this just for fun before this workshop, and I put in that little blue box, customer service. I was in sales, so it was relevant to me, customer service. And I just put in that to find my career matches. That's a big word in the job seeking industry, matches. And I will tell you, I'm not going to give you the whole laundry list. About 30 things came up, but you might say I was a customer service person at Target store, for example, just something basic. Put it in there. You might be able to be to go into, believe it or not, with some training, insurance underwriter, new account clerk, hotel, motel, desk clerk, just a couple more, office clerk, brokerage clerk, billing and account, insurance claims. Why? Well, again, it boils down to your communication skills. And those communication skills are very transferable. And this tool will help you maybe open up your mind, like, I don't have to stay at Target for the rest of my life. I have good communication skills. Maybe with some training, I can do something else to make use of those skills. So go to these websites that we've spoken about, pick a couple that you like, that work well for you, and use them. Use these tools. Don't just listen to Paul and myself spout off about these tools. Use them. Next one, next slide. All right. You're going to create, if you haven't created already, you'll have a resume. You'll apply for a job. When you do apply for a job, there will be what's called a job description on Indeed, on a company website. Here's another free site. The basic thing to do is free. It's called techcrowd.com. You can see the website there, and it's pretty simple. You take your resume, you copy it, paste it into the box that comes up right on the opening screen. This is not real high-tech stuff, not 45 things to be able to do it. Paste it in, hit visualize. And the next page will show you what happens when you hit visualize. This is a visualization. See those big words, ability, duties, orders, customer. Wow, that big word customer. What is it saying? Those are the most important words. Little ones that I can't read, they're in there, but they're not as important. The employer, these 5 or 6 big ones that you see, that's really what they want for that job. So what you can, if you go to the next page after you see that visualization, you can analyze at another site called JobScan. You can post it, you can paste in your resume, you can paste in the job posting, the text. And this is not a word cloud. This is a little different. This doesn't tell you what the matches are. It'll tell you, do you match a number? It'll give you a number rating score. How well do you match up? And it's pretty critical. A quick story was I had a person that wanted to work for a cosmetic store. In that cosmetic store, in their job description, they called the job title was guest representative. Everybody that came into that store was a guest, which actually makes sense to me. The word guest was not in this person's resume, and nothing happened. I told this person, revise your resume, call it guest representative. And this person, it matched, got an interview, got the job. So these matching things, ATS, Paul touched on that. That's the applicant tracking system. It looks for matches. A lot of us have sent away resumes. We don't hear anything. Most of the time, not all the time, but most of the time, why your resume didn't have the matching words. It didn't have what the employer wanted. No human being ever saw it. A basic matching program said, Charles' resume doesn't have the right words, send it to the delete. And I got deleted and I never heard anything and I got frustrated. Well, the way to get around that is make sure, do you match up, and use these tools at Tag Crowd and this Job Scan. Next. All right, here's some more those are two good ones I just told you about, but if you might like these better. I don't know, I haven't used them too much. You might go to these Resume Worded, skillssinker.com, vmock.com, and those again can do this kind of this matching thing, and whatever tools work best for you that you like, that's the ones to go with. Next. All right, alerts. I've told clients set up alerts, and the biggest question I get is, how do I set up a Google alert? So, well, why don't you ask Google? Well, it's pretty simple. Just go to your Google, go, how do I set up a Google alert? Doesn't take long, it takes about 10 seconds, quite honestly. And a page comes up that says, what do you want in your alerts? Jobs in the medical industry in Downers Grove, Illinois, DuPage County. You put it in there, you set it up, and like Paul, years later, you will keep getting these unless you turn it off. But it's very, very easy to do. Indeed is also easy to do. So do these alerts and be the first to know. Yeah, that means that's when they pick it up, they will alert you right away. So hopefully it's something new, something that you could maybe be first in line. But again, first in line doesn't mean anything if your skills and your abilities don't match up with what they're looking for. But take advantage. This is so basic. I'm able to do this in my sleep. So do these alert things, not a bad thing. Next. All right. Let's see. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Again, BLS, Bureau of Labor Statistics. A lot of information, a lot that you're not going to use, but find something specific in here. Occupational outlook. We talked about that. Sunny, is it? What's the outlook for tech industry people in a certain area of the country? As Paul said, it might not be all that bright. There are layoffs going on right now, but maybe there'll be hirings in 2 months. We don't know. These people are much smarter than I, and they keep track of this. Where are the layoffs? What are the growth industries? We want a growth industry. You know, I've had relatives that were telephone operators. Well, they would switchboards. Most of you don't know what that is, but that was a hot item in many years ago. Today, you don't want to go into an industry that's going to be like the telephone operators that are going to be phased out. Next. All right, employer reviews. Here's one more bit of philosophy. If you go to Glassdoor, you go to any of these sites that rate companies, a lot of, you will see a mix. You will see some good. You will see a lot of negative, negative comments. Maybe it wasn't the company. Maybe it was the person. They showed up every day late for work or didn't get their work done in time, and they blame the employer. So take these with a grain of salt. Any reviews, employer websites, yeah, use a library to do research, use your computer, publications, Chamber of Commerce directories, not that's certainly a good thing. Manufacturers directories, in my day, they were big, heavy 50-pound books. They were great for holding things in place. But look into those. I'm sure they have those online. And let's see, leading companies, just a laundry list. Take a look at that. Employer review, publication, put that in your Google, and I'm sure there's even more than this. Next. All right, actual reviews, and keep in mind, take it with a grain of salt, these reviews. Happy people don't always post on websites. They do, but a lot, from what I see from my experience, I see more negative. So doesn't mean the company is negative. Read those reviews if you like, but don't let it dissuade you. The best reviews, I will tell you, if I wanted to work at PRC, I would call Paul. Okay, he's been there several years. He would be the guy that could really tell me the truth. Those are the best ones. If you can find people that work for the actual company, go with that. Actual employee reviews. And what am I going to ask Paul? What's the culture at PRC? Compensation, management, satisfaction, career progression, work-life balance. These are things that you want to know. Can you get it? We don't always know people who work for these companies. Yeah, you can go to Glassdoor, you can go to Indeed, you can many of these job aggregators that Paul spoke about earlier do have information, comments about the companies. It's quite unbelievable the amount of information that's out there. So be careful, look at what the source is, and if you can find actual employees, go with that. Next. All right, next up, back to Paul.
All right, thanks so much, Charles. Just so we kind of wrap up here. If you are not already a PRC client, you're interested in becoming a client, again, free of charge. We don't charge anybody anything for being a PRC client. You can contact us at 630-682-5402, extension 333. You would just leave a message, and we have a team member that would call you back and register you for our next orientation. Again, we offer a lot of different services, not just job coaching, although that is something we do offer, but you have a team that can work on your resume. We can just help give you guidance on job search strategies. We have those skills assessment tests. We have our job board. We have our additional workshops. So you get access to everything by becoming a PRC client. Let's see. There we go. If you're interested in learning more about what People's Resource Center does, you can just go to our website, www.peoplesrc.org. Top left-hand corner, you can click on services, and that shows all the services that we offer. If you click on job assistance, and it'll also tell you how to get started from there as well. There's the number to call, and there's also a interest form that you can fill out if you prefer to do that over calling the number, and that's all located on our website. Want to open it up now. Want to be cognizant of time. We have like 3 minutes. Does anybody have any questions or anything that you want to ask us?
Actually, if I could just share a couple of things at the library really quick.
Sure.
Okay, I'm going to share my screen. So I am at the Downers Grove Library. Anybody can access this. We have a career help page, and this will actually link out to most of the things that Paul and Charles literally just spent the last 45 minutes talking about. So it was a lot of information. Here's a one-stop shop for you, career one-stop. Some of the tools that Charles mentioned, Tag Crowd, Resume Worded, and you find them all here on one page on the website. A couple of other quick things. I just wanted to show you. There is a database that anybody can access from inside the library. You need to have a Downers Grove library card in order to access it from home. This is probably not the most efficient way to go about your job search, but there's a database called Reference Solutions, and you can literally search by area, industry, all that type of thing. So if you want to put together a list of different companies in a particular geographic a location, that actually covers the industry, that you're looking at. This is actually a great tool. You can stop in the library. We can show you how to use it. But I just wanted to point out a couple of these things to people here. Yeah. So we will turn it over for questions. So we will stop recording. Thank you, Paul, and Charles, and everyone else for being here today.